Barbarian Horde, your main man returns. Disguise roll, natural 20. Now, today, we're going to be delving deeper. Forgotten Realms Remembered. We're going to be dealing with our first good divinity, Tyr. Now, before we get into that, remember to go to Drive-Thru RPG, get your Within the Ring of Fire books, get your 77 Thrones, the Theological Codex, very helpful in digesting a role-playing game understanding of divinities. It's going to get you very enthused and interested there. Go check out Matt Pritchard's video he did about a review on 77 Thrones, the Theological Codex. You're going to want to pick that one up, and it's going to help you just understand the general concept of divinity in RPG as well as a specific pantheon. But right now we're going to be talking about Forgotten Realms Remembered. And this is going to be the first good aligned divinity that we're talking about, Tyr, who is well represented in our culture, as he has a day named after him. Tuesday, or Tyr's Day, is a good time to reflect and think about Tyr and the old Nordic way. Tyr is a divinity in Forgotten Realms that is what they call an interloper god. He comes from another cosmos, another cosmology, another mythos, and he has interjected himself into Forgotten Realms to put his will upon the people just the way he always does. Now, for those that know about Norse mythology, Tyr is well known in this mythology, considered one of the strongest, and these are people that really value physical might, one of the strongest deities, of course, below Thor the Thunderer, but certainly in that running in the strength department. He's a deity that is associated with law and order and justice. He's associated in the Forgotten Realms with police, with judges, with these sort of things. And they say that judges and magistrates that are of good and kind heart and bent for justice will go and meditate upon Tyr, will go and pray for Tyr for guidance when deliberating upon sentencing and deliberating upon their ability to execute justice in a trial situation as a magistrate. Now, Tyr can really be an excellent sort of white meat baby face, a real good guy if you want to have particularly a game that runs with lots of shades of gray. Tyr can be a bright yellow beam of sunlight coming into a game like that. I've used Tyr in Forgotten Realms games, I've used Tyr in Ravenloft games, and I've got a lot of mileage out of Tyr, a lot of success out of Tyr. You'll see a lot of people who want to play that lawful good character will end up following Tyr in a realm like this. I think he's probably, for the lawful good, one of the better selections of divinities that you could choose. He has followers that are paladins, followers that are clerics. You can play a cleric fighter. There's a lot of mileage and value you can get out of a follower of Tyr. In the Forgotten Realms, Tyr also opens up a very interesting possibility. He's an interloper god, a god that came from the Norse pantheon, the Norse mythology. And he brings all that with him. You know, Israel, he brings Valhalla and these concepts of these worlds, and there's loads of possibility to interject other Norse gods into Forgotten Realms. And that's something I did in the Forgotten Realms game I ran, where Tyr, and it added a slight bit of malevolence to Tyr, because Tyr was creating these different acts, and some of them had just a little, they even then, you know, he's bright, but a little bit of grayness had to be put in there. And he's bringing in Thor, and he's bringing in Odin, and who slips in the back door but Loki. And Loki is similar to Mask in a lot of ways, but if you run that and use a plotline like that, he's trying to bring in his backup for this big war of divinities we're building up as a backdrop for the entire campaign. And if you're Tyr, of course you're going to want Odin, of course you're going to want Thor in your corner to form a six-man stable for tag team action. Now, doing something like that, you're going to create all kinds of ripples. You know, Thor versus Talos, Odin versus Mishra, and you can create a lot of intrigue and interest with the player characters, and they're seeing these new opportunities, these new options that are provided for. And I mean, come on, if you like RPGs, you gotta like Odin. Odin is definitely a very interesting and amazing deity. In Forgotten Realms, they picked several real-world deities, and we'll probably go over each of those. But I think Tyr is probably the most pronounced, the most noticeable that you're going to see, particularly if you only have a casual or cursory knowledge of mythology. You're going to see Tyr and go, that's a name I know. So in AD&D second edition, they had Legends and Lore. And in fact, they have Deities and Demigods for third edition, where both of these have Tyr in them, so you can supplement just off the Dungeons and Dragons book, supplement what's presented here in the Greenwood Forgotten Realms versus the sort of standard sanitized Norse mythology version. You can also pick up probably any book on Norse mythology and learn more about Tyr and extrapolate from that information and bring your own ideas. Tyr in Forgotten Realms is also blind, which is, that's a Forgotten Realms specific. He has, of course, missing the hand, lost to Finir, which I don't know if they touch on that much in the Forgotten Realms games, but he loses that hand to Loki's offspring Finir, and Tyr himself is, in some accounts, a lot of what we know about the old Nordic religions is it changed a lot because a lot of different recountings over a fairly large geographical span, and the information wasn't recorded by them. For the most part, it was recorded by Catholic monks who had come into that area, around the year 1000. That's where we get most of the information we have for the Nordic mythology. So when we're looking at this classical mythology, and I really always encourage anyone to delve into mythology for something that's real, or even if it isn't, find something that's equivalent and dig out more pieces and interject and mingle them together. And if you bring it across with passion and believability, your players are going to jump, they're going to bite, they're going to get on board with that concept that you had. So for Tyr, you can really bring this sort of blazing figure of law and order, but at the same time, whenever you have law and order, you have rigidity. You have the possibility of tyranny being interjected in that sort of character very easily. We won't stand for this. We won't allow this. This is beyond, and it can be something else that is in fact very much good itself, but can be against their orders, their ordained commandments. And when you flesh out commandments like that, and then you can have your good versus good situations, you can provide a very interesting plot line there. And you always want to provide interesting, different plot lines, plot hooks, and overarching elements. Your players have different aspects to jump into in a game. They have different ideas, they have different lines of thought to pursue, different agendas that they can participate in, and they might be split. One might be, yes, the law and order, the rule of Tyr is just, look how wonderful this land that Tyr has ruled over in the stead of his clerics and paladins is. Others might say, look at this, they're preventing X, Y, and Z from happening, and you can create an issue there. And you never want to play get along gang style. Good isn't necessarily the friend of good. Evil isn't necessarily the friend of evil. And when you have those sort of issues, you can definitely bring up a game that has a lot more interest to it. So that being said, I think Tyr can be an excellent choice for someone who wants to have that lawful good experience, who wants to have that holy sword waving paladin with the shield, with the heavy armor. Or, you can go Nordic style with the chain shirt and a little skirt on, a little chain shirt skirt deal. The hauberk, and really be that force for order, that force for justice in the world. In this book right here, Adventure, it says that Tyr does not have a specialty priest. I don't have the AD&D Legends and Lore anymore, but I think, and someone's going to correct me here, probably 8 of you will if I'm wrong, but I think that they had a specialty priest in there for Tyr, so you can certainly use that information. If I'm not wrong, I might be. But Tyr's going to have a lot of paladins, and here his portfolio is simply justice. He is a power of the 7 heavens, and of course, I think we have a better update here. A home plane house of the Triad, and portfolio is still just justice. That's all he has. All he has is justice, which seems rather scant, I think. He would seem like he would have more than that. I believe in the Norse pantheon recounting in Legends and Lore, he probably has a bit more. So you can look at that. You can look at the 3rd edition version. You can look at probably 1st edition has a version of that. I don't know what they did in 4th edition for divinities, but I find it a bit odd. His worshippers, they say paladins, judges, magistrates, lawyers, police. Okay, and it says the oppressed, which to me is a bit odd. I would think that oppressed people, typically in the Forgotten Realms, you're going to be oppressed probably by Bane, or maybe by Cyric as well. But to me, the oppressed, because Cyril only has a pretty brief run in Zenil Keep. Bane is there for a good long time, and then he comes back later for a good long time. So I'm kind of thinking your oppressed, your liberators are going to be in that chaotic good vein. That's the sort of deity you're chafing against rules and order and shackles. You don't want a new king, a new lord. You want freedom, and freedom itself is essentially the basis of chaotic good to chaotic neutral, the freedom. And that's something that I found a bit odd, a bit misplaced. I don't think if I was chafing under the tyranny of Bane, I don't believe I would be calling out for Tyr. I believe I would be calling out for Talos to come down, drop the hammer, roll Bane over, get a quick 3 count. That's a god with portfolio is rebellion. So rebellion would simply seem to be something that would attract the oppressed. But anyway, we're going to be talking, and I'll probably be referencing back to earlier deities that I've done. I'm trying not to reference forward too much because it might be confusing. Like, okay, who is Shandakal or Shar or whatever. But I'm trying to provide an educational platform for those that aren't that familiar with Forgotten Realms, and things that might be a little interesting twist for those who are going to play Forgotten Realms, or those that are very interested in the Forgotten Realms, to kind of see a different idea instead of simply reading a book to you. I'm trying to give you different ideas so you can sort of spark your own creative fire, your own imagination. That's the whole deal here. They call Tyr the even-handed, the maimed god, the just god, and over here they call him the even-handed. So the even-handed, the name that comes up. I'll show you the holy symbol that they have for Tyr here. That's the holy symbol for Umberly. There you go. There's the holy symbol for Tyr. And right here is they have the holy symbol again here, done in color. I'll let you see that. And here is a picture of Tyr himself. He's got a big old mane of hair and beard. I don't know, to me that the picture there is a bit odd. It's not really how I picture Tyr. He had the warhammer right here as well. Definitely in that Norse mythology, only one man who swings a warhammer and let the hammer fall. But I think there's a lot you can do with Tyr. There's some ways you can work him shades of gray. There's some ways you can keep him brilliant white. You can keep him very white, neat baby face. Very much, I am good. I do everything that's good. I'm Captain America. You can run him that kind of style. You can run him that kind of style and then throw a little harder Norse edge on it. And you can run him on a style where he's like, yeah, and my followers are pirates that run around killing you. That's what to go a Viking meant. Or pirates are going to go hit monasteries and so forth. So you can definitely have that sort of idea incorporated. Just followers running around sacking monasteries. It's like, oh, sorry about your luck, Grumbar. We're going to run in your pace. We're going to run in the place of Mishra. We're going to run in the place of Kelemvor, and rightfully so. So that those are all things you want to bring up. And feel free to leave in the comments below different gods from the Forgotten Realms. I'm not reviewing Greyhawk gods. I request for that. I do not like Greyhawk at all. And I'm leaving it at that. But if you want to hear about certain Forgotten Realms gods, feel free to write who you want to hear about. I don't think you need to mention Bane, or because we're going to be doing him. Probably be doing Tempest soon. Probably be doing Shar soon, Cyric soon. But if there's other ones if you really want to hear about, I don't know, Lovatar or Mask or Eldath, hit up in the comments. Let me know, and those might get out quicker than others. We're going to see how this series runs. Are you guys liking it? You're supporting it. You can follow me on Twitter, yourmainman_RPG. You can jump on, send me a friend request on Facebook, accept them all. You jump up on Raw Immersive Games on Facebook, our page, and you can communicate, join in the fun about Within the Ring of Fire. It's been your main man.